Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jake and I'm an artist who talks all things movies and TV while I make a rug. In today's episode, we're talking The Santa Clauses. That's right, the TV series on Disney Plus based on the classic Christmas trilogy, which saw Scott Calvin go from normal old Joe Schmo to Santa Claus. Who asked for this show? Nobody. But are we gonna watch it? Yes! While I'm breaking things down, I'm gonna be making a rug of a bootylicious Santa chilling on a chimney. Stick around to the end to see how it turns out. Let's get rugging. As Disney Plus finds its feet, they've decided to produce a ton of Disney Plus originals. Some of them we didn't really need. Sit. But they got so much money, they're like, come on, we gotta attract subscribers to the platform. Let's put out 1 million shows. They'll watch them all. But it seems like they're doing well, even though they raised their motherfucking prices to $10.99. I'm not watching ads, so I'm having the premium tier. Okay. In keeping with the tradition of capitalizing on existing IP, Disney has decided, let's make a miniseries out of a trilogy that I thought we had wrapped up about 16 years ago. But no, there's more story to be squeezed out here. Okay, but I get it, it's Christmas time, you can never have too much Christmas content, whatever. So I decided to watch the first few episodes of this show, so you don't have to. Or do you? I remember when I was a kid and I would flip open my big ass portable DVD player. Yes, Gen Zers, we didn't have an iPad with all the movies we could ever want that we could take anywhere. No, we had a portable DVD player and could only carry a few DVDs because they're so big. What a mess. I remember flipping it open, popping that baby in, and just going straight to the North Pole. It was magical. It was a different time. Before we unwrap the main present of this video, let's recap the 3 movies that came before this. The Santa Clauses is a TV miniseries on Disney Plus based off of 3 movies: The Santa Claus, The Santa Claus 2, and The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause. In these movies, we follow the story of an ordinary man named Scott Calvin who accidentally becomes Santa when he scares the bitch, falls onto the ground, dies, and Scott says, I'm cool, let me put on this coat, and he becomes Santa. As he struggles to adapt to his new role, he's gotta find a wife and deal with the mischievous Jack Frost who wants to take over Christmas because he doesn't have a holiday of his own. The first movie, The Santa Claus, was released in 1994 and starred the Tim Allen as Scott Calvin. He's a divorced father who accidentally becomes Santa Claus and his whole life begins to unravel. The movie basically follows Scott as he learns the ropes. He struggles to balance his new responsibilities with his family life. His son Charlie is the cutest part of this movie, and Scott realizes, wow, I've really got to figure out how to be Santa and a good father. And Charlie's just like, oh my God, my dad is Santa Claus. Can I please ride on the sleigh, Daddy? Oh, yay! Yeah, that's basically what he said in the movie. So, one of my favorite scenes of this movie is towards the end when the Elf Secret Service, or whatever the fuck they're called, pull up and bail him out of jail, and it's just iconic. They've got magical technology, lots of glitter, and they're not fucking around, okay? They're here to save Christmas. It's a classic. The second movie was released in 2002, and Scott has fully embraced his responsibilities as Santa Claus, but now realizes there's another Claus in the Santa Claus. So they bring out that big-ass magnifying glass, bam, 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 and it says he needs to find a Mrs. Claus. Now, what if he wanted to find a Mr. Claus? Is there a clause for that clause? Probably not, but there should be. He's got to find a Mrs. Claus in order to keep his powers, but he's divorced and he's like, I've been living in the North Pole for all these years.
Man, I feel like some Christmas.
I don't know how I'm gonna find a human woman that wants to be with all of this. I don't know either, sir, but figure it out or you're not gonna be Santa anymore. He starts to begin the desantification process, losing his beard, losing his weight. I mean, he's going through a full transformation. One day he's called into school because his son is now a teenager and he's very rebellious and he hates the principal. So he has to go to this meeting, and then Scott is thinking like, oh, this principal is a little baddie. I think she's on the naughty list. I think I want to share some milk and cookies with her. Sounds like ho 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 ho. Well, how else is he gonna find a wife? He's got to be a little hoey. He don't have that much charm. My favorite scene is when Scott goes with Carol to her faculty Christmas party. Everybody's bored, everybody's sad, all the teachers, they're just like, we need somebody to boost this place up. It's got no energy. Is that what it's like to be a teacher? You guys have no fun? Guys, come on now. This is a Christmas party. Somebody start doing a fucking coffee grinder in here or something. Turn on some, I know that's right, big bands busting out the Bentley bands. Just put her on Cardi and everybody's gonna be twerking. Carol confessed that she used to believe in Santa as a kid, but she got in fights with other kids about if he was real or not, so her parents just kind of broke her the news. Then she lost all faith in magic in her life. That's why she's so bitter. So by using a little bit of his Christmas magic, he decides to spice up this boring-ass party and give all the faculty members their favorite childhood toy. They have the best time. They're playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots and they're laughing with each other. Oh my God, Mom, I didn't know you were so hilarious. There might be some other couples sprouting up during this event. Oh my God. Oh, you're so funny. They go out into the hall so they can have a moment alone, and with his last bit of magic, he grows a mistletoe above them and they kiss. And we think, yes, he's found the one. But not so fast, because she is a logical person, as she thinks he's a little bit got a few screws loose. This is one of the rare times where the sequel's better than the first one. The first one was just a foundation. It was really setting up the story, but this one feels like we know these people. We live for the Christmas magic and the heartwarming moments, and we live for love, and everybody's happy. Nothing really is going too wrong except for the weird-ass robot Santa who's trying to take over the North Pole. But it's just, there's a lot. It's a whole other storyline we gotta go over. The writers were able to capture the essence of Christmas while also making these characters feel like they're real tangible people. All right, so they defeat the robot Santa and, there's peace in the land. On to the third movie. Bringing out the dramatically large magnifying glass again, Curtis has become the head elf. Bernard is nowhere to be found, and we see that there's actually a way you could get out of being Santa Claus without dying or being murdered or a myriad of other things. You can safely sashay away. That is, if Scott ever wanted to go back to a normal life. But he's still pretty new at this, so it's like, I think I'm gonna stick around. But Jack Frost has other plans. You see, he's jealous because all the other magical creatures, they have their own holiday. He's got nothing, and he wants his moment in the gloomy sun, because if it's too hot, he'll melt. So he sets his eyes on Christmas, and he eventually tricks Scott into invoking the escape clause, and oh my God, girl, they get sucked into the snow globe, and all these things happen, and Jack Frost takes over the North Pole. Scott goes back to a normal life. Christmas is now Frostmas, and Jack has turned the North Pole into a theme park. Yeah, because that's the logical thing to do. After Jack Frost becomes the new Santa Claus, Scott is then sent to 2006 to an alternate timeline where he is not Santa Claus, he's the CEO of the company that he's been working at for years, and he finds, bitch, I don't want to do this, I want to be Santa Claus. So he goes to the theme park, Jack Frost does this grand old musical number, it's just iconic, and Scott tricks Jack into saying he doesn't want to be Santa Claus anymore. Bop, 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 beep, boop. They switch roles, everything's back to normal. We find out later that Carol is pregnant with twins, who happen to be in the show, and that he's gonna name the boy Buddy Calvin. So Buddy Calvin is Calvin in the real world, but Buddy Calvin Claus in the North Pole world. The math works out. They're 16 years old, they've got attitude, but they want to explore the real world because all they really know is the North Pole. And even though it's magical, the grass is always greener on the other side. And kids at that age, you're just curious. You want to learn. Doesn't mean you want to stay there forever, but you just want to see what it's like. Well, I didn't think the third movie was all that bad. The reviews were brutal. They were just, let me read you a few. Alan did the Santa Claus the first time with enthusiasm, the second time with affection, and the third time for a paycheck. Santa is so dumb he should be demoted to cleaning up after Jeffrey the giraffe at Toys R Us. Squeaky clean, but you might die of boredom. Oh my god, it wasn't that boring. Did you see the musical number? It's far from boring. Start spreading the news. It's just everything. Finally, a host on BBC Radio 5 described it as the cinematic equivalent of tertiary syphilis. Jeez, it wasn't that bad. And it certainly wasn't made for adults. So don't they think of that before they put their review out there? Was it made for you? These stuffy movie critics only focusing on the negative elements of this movie shows just how, over time, Christmas magic fades in adults, and that's why it's so strong in children. Children have that sense of wonder and curiosity and optimism that adults can't seem to capture. No movie is immune from criticism, but damn, syphilis? No. He must have had a rough time in college. Who hurt you, sir? Who gave you syphilis? I don't know, but that person is responsible for this review. Tertiary syphilis too? Why bring out a big word? I loved this movie as a kid, and while it's cheesy, I thought it was fabulous. Martin Short as Jack Frost is one of the coolest villains ever. The storyline of the show follows the Calvins as they try to adjust to normal life, and as Scott grapples with his retirement. His kids, Cal and Sandra, are surprisingly okay with their dad retiring, even though they know that they'd be giving up the magic of the North Pole. He finds a perfect replacement in an investor played by Cal Penn, who starts turning the North Pole into a business, and of course, once again, things spin out of control. I'm just carving some lines in here, giving you a real close-up look. You like that camera angle? Right up in there. Clearly this guy cares about Christmas, but his priorities are all over the place. And now that I think about it, he's gonna have to figure out that Mrs. Claus, because his wife passed away, so he's gonna need to find a wife. Maybe this wasn't the best replacement. And you see, Charlie would have been the perfect replacement, but both him and his wife are not willing to uproot their lives to go to the North Pole, which is completely understandable. But at the same time, we followed Charlie for 3 movies, and now a TV show, so he is the most logical, next in line to the throne, but he doesn't want it. Whatever. He's still pretty cute, so, I don't know how old he is now, probably in his 30s, but looks pretty good. And what really surprised me is that his wife doesn't even know about, his dad's big secret, because you would think that he would tell her. She thinks he's like a cow herder or something. I already forgot. Something on the farm. Let's go over here and fix this. Bam. Not playing, bitch. Ready to fight. This shows us once again just how important the role of Santa Claus really is and how many lives he can affect. Another big focus of this show is that people are losing faith in Santa, and a lot of people don't really believe in him anymore. Naturally, his magic is fading. This show has got to find a way to pull an elf and get everybody to start believing in him again. I mean, who asked for this show? I don't think anybody, but give it to us anyway. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. It's part of the pink and black sea here. I'll get in there. The magic of the show lies in the casting. They did a great job with the head elf, now called the Chief of Staff, Betty, who's played by Matilda Lawler. She's the epitome of organization and order, and honestly, she's the only one with common sense in the place. But let's not forget, even though these elves look like children, they're actually full-grown adults. Hundreds of years old. Maybe even thousands. I know Bernard is thousands. He's like, 1,000. And at the end of the last episode, we just saw him up here, so I guess he's gonna join us. Didn't join us for the 3rd one, but I guess he'll join us for the show 16 years later. He was just a fucking king. He was a king and a queen, girl. He had glitter in his hair in the OG movies. Yes, he did, and he made it work. He rocked it. Does he have glitter in the show? I don't know, but if he doesn't, we're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have to write a letter, Disney. Excuse me, where's the script supervisor? Where's the prop department? Where's the costume department? We need consistency, because I know that glitter didn't fade in 16 years. He's 1,000 years old. But he definitely looks older. That is life, girls. Gotta do what you gotta do, don't you? It's just a really crazy setup. It's not really working for me, but... And Noel, Betty's husband. Oh, he's getting on my damn nerves with every episode. It's a really sweet character because he is obsessed with Santa, he loves him, and he just really wants to be by his side every second of the day. But he looks like a child and he acts like a child. Even though he's married and a full-grown adult, his wife is actually the complete opposite of him. He doesn't follow rules. I don't think he even knows the rules, to be honest. And he's always emotional. He's always crying or doing something stupid. I get it, comedic relief or something. And that's why probably by the end of the show, Scott Cawthon is going to be back in the North Pole. That's my prediction, even though he's so old. How old is Tim Allen? He's 69, girls. He's 69. It is time for retirement. I mean, I really went into this ready to hate it. Let's be honest. We don't need another reboot, especially of this franchise. But they said, well, most of the OGs are still alive, so let's just do it. I just watched Santa Camp, a little documentary on HBO. It's pretty good. The girls were talking about, pay and how it should be equal. Because Mrs. Claus is out here and she's ready to act. She's ready to make some wishes come true and not just sit there and serve Papa Claus a hot chocolate. What the hell? She doesn't need to wear a bonnet, okay? She doesn't even need to wear a dress. She could wear a pantsuit. For all I care. And then there was this whole thing about a trans Santa Claus and, his wife was Dr. Claus. Okay, excuse me, she's got a PhD, bitch. And of course there was a little bit of protesting outside, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Who gives a fuck? Okay, Santa is a fictional character. We made him up. It's a trilogy for a reason, and I thought we wrapped all this up 16 years ago. As I was watching, I was once again sucked into the world of the Santa Claus. It's sweet, it's funny, it's got the right amount of cheese and nostalgia. If you're a fan of the movies, you'll enjoy the show. We're just, snipping away. I'm not going to cover this whole thing with you here because this is going to take hours. But while I definitely think it's time for Tim Allen to pass the torch on and off the show, it's a lovely holiday watch. It really is. Overall, I think The Santa Claus is a fun and entertaining show to watch, especially if you're a fan of the movies. It's got a great mix of humor, heart, and holiday magic. I highly recommend giving it a watch on Disney Plus, and I'm interested to see how it's going to end. Grab your milk and cookies, because it's time for the rug reveal. If you'd like to see this rug come to life with augmented reality, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at WildJakey and at Cinerugs. If you enjoyed this video, I've got your next watch right over there. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Jake. Merry Christmas, and may the power protect you always. I'll see you next time. Bye.